views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Free Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak to a certified life coach and healer, Melissa Colon, aka Muse, about living in your power to find your true identity and purpose in the midst of the pandemic. After that, we'll be joined by Padgy Soltis to discuss her new bilingual children's book, Volveré De Nuevo, I Will Come Back, a story reflecting on parenthood and a love that knows no limits. Then we'll hear from the winners of the Bronx 48-Hour Film Challenge about their films and their overall experience participating in the Bronx's most anticipated film competition. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on Harlem's own dynamic duo, J&A, who will perform their latest single, #1, at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Welcome back. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, you can always follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. As the world continues reopening, people are still trying to live out their goals while dealing with the pressures of adapting to the new normal. Our first guest is all about transforming and empowering lives through her company, The One Muse, where she focuses on releasing patterns of belief that impede personal growth and individual expression. And joining us now to help us reach that power of consciousness, please welcome certified life coach and healer, Melissa Colon, also known as Muse. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Rhina. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
So excited to have you, looking like a lioness over there. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Same. We're like twins.
You think?
It's the hair.
Yeah. I thought you were referring to our energy, because I will say you have the sweetest energy. I was scrolling through all of your website, your Instagram, and I just absolutely love the energy that you put forth in the service that you're offering. Because it's one thing to just be a life coach, and it's another thing to be an intuitive, we'll say, right?
Thank you so much, Rhina. It takes one to know one, you know?
Yeah, that's how we do. So let's just open up with discussing the phrase living in your power. How about we go there? We start there, because right now I think we're all just navigating through these tumultuous times, and there's a lot of questioning that occurs internally, and some people may be aware of that conscious thought process, and some people are just basically suppressing it and not dealing with it. So let's talk about living in your power.
I love that question. So many times we're taught from the time we're young to kind of look outside of ourselves to learn things, right? We go to school to learn about history and all these different subjects. We're looking to others to see how perhaps things should be done. But I think that we forget that there's a wellspring of energy and power and resources that's right here within each of us. And we all have 100% of those resources. So the more we're able to go within, quiet our mind, ask ourselves some deep questions, spend time with ourselves, we're able to access that inner power. And that inner power can look like confidence. It can look like speaking our truth. It can look like creativity. It can look like many different things depending on who you are and how you express.
And so getting into the topic of being with self, right? And this past, what are we at? 20 months now? I always say 18, but it's like, no, we have passed 18 by now, Rhina. And so we have basically been placed in the position to have no choice but to be with self. And certain people are uncomfortable with being with self. And I'm saying this based on people's behavioral patterns and possibly not even being taught to understand how to navigate through the internal voices that reside within each and every one of us.
True.
Right? Because we have a mental health crisis right now because exactly what we're discussing about the understanding that we are responsible for ourselves, and yes, we are products of our environment, of our upbringings, but we don't have to remain that.
Correct. Good point, Rhina. It's very, very true. I mean, this time has given us the opportunity to slow down a bit. And I know that if you're going from a busy life where you're kind of ignoring your emotions or ignoring what's happening in your life, and then all of a sudden everything stops and you're faced with all of these things, it can be very overwhelming. So for a lot of my clients, I've suggested things like journaling. I've suggested things like taking a walk in the park, because sometimes taking it slow allows things to slowly come up, and it allows us to slowly process feelings that we may be having or things we may have experienced in the past. So it's not an all or nothing. It's really a chipping away or a slow go connection with yourself.
And so what you're discussing is a topic that I love having with every single person that crosses my path, and that is the art of balance, right? And it looks different for everyone. It looks different for everyone. And I love that you, of course, recommend nature, because it's your own way of really coming to terms with your existence, right? Because we coexist in this planet, on this planet, on Earth. And so with that balance that you're suggesting and the way you've been working, which I find really, really, it's admirable, and I just absolutely adore your energy, and the efforts that you're putting forth with committing to people on a weekly basis with your pep talks, with One Muse, and I know that's in the park. So I wanted to just elaborate a little further on exactly how you facilitate that.
Wonderful. Yeah, back in 2018, I had been on my personal journey of self-development for about 14 years. And I was like, I have an overflow. I have extra knowledge and energy that I want to share with my community. So I thought, do I try and find a place to host this, or it's summertime in New York? Why not use the park? Why not bring the women that I love in my life together in this beautiful natural space and sit down and do a little meditation and talk about some of the subjects that have helped me get to where I am. So normally in Pep Talks, we'll open up with a nice meditation or movement, and then I'll do introductions. So everyone will say their first name and kind of one fact about themselves, or I'll ask kind of a question that's an icebreaker, just so that if we have new people in the group, everyone feels like they know each other, everyone gets an opportunity to talk. And then every year I have a theme. So this year's theme is all about transformation. So we've been talking about topics varying from nature to taking risks to facing our fears. And then I usually like to add some type of hands-on creative activity, because I think that's a very important part of us that as adults, we don't always foster, right? We're like, oh, crayons and markers are for when we're kids. And that's just not true. We are creative beings, especially as women. And I think it's really important for us to get our hands on creativity and reconnect with our inner selves, our inner child. And then at the end, I have something called Pep Talks messages. And that started back in 2018, and it's been a big hit. So I always keep them around. And everyone gets their own kind of specialized message that they pick from this basket. And it just so happens that the message always resonates with them. So it's about an hour and a half long, even though it feels like much shorter because we do so much. But at the end, we all just end up feeling so much closer to ourselves and to each other. You know, I found that healing has been exponential in this Pep Talks group. I think just because everyone comes in holding space for each other. You know, every woman's looking at each other like they're sisters, even if they just met. And I'm just, it's the thing of One Muse, right? Like, it's my baby. I have so many offerings, but Pep Talks was really where it all began, even before I started one-on-one coaching. And I have women that have been with me over 4 years, and to see their lives transform. I mean, I had one woman who started as a stay-at-home mom, and, you know, in the first 3, she was like, what am I going to do? I see all these women here doing amazing things, and I just wonder what I'm going to do. And now fast forward 4 years, she has her own company. She works from home. Like, she's empowering all the new ladies that are coming. So it's just been such a beautiful journey, and really the highlight of my week, you know, every Wednesday to head to the park with a few little snacks and my Pep Talks messages, and know that all of these women are going to come and sit on this beautiful blanket. I bring flowers and put flower petals everywhere, and like really create a safe space for them to connect with themselves and take their lives to the next level, because women are doing big things in the world, you know, and they need support.
Oh my gosh, it sounds divine. I want to be there with you. You sold, you know, done. So here's the last question, because we're running out of time. Is like, do you cap it as far as the amount of people that can participate, and what time of the day is it usually facilitated?
Wonderful. So there's no cap, and it's 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Oh, nice. So it's in the evening, right before the sun sets completely, and you still have them outdoors, and this is going to be occurring, rather, you're still offering it outdoors until September 22nd, you mentioned, right? It's every Wednesday. However, they do need to book these sessions directly through you on your Instagram. Is that correct? Or is it your website?
They can book it either place, via Instagram or my website.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. We've got Muse Melissa Colon in the house. Wonderful, offering her Pep Talks every Wednesday. And if you're interested in booking a session and participating in Pep Talks, you can either visit her website, theonemuse.com, and or you can visit her on Instagram. All right, we gotta take a quick break, but when we return, we're gonna hear about a new bilingual children's book. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So as our parent, it's difficult to leave your child for long periods of time, and it's even more difficult for the children. So our next guest serves in the military and was deployed to the Middle East, spending 9 months away from her son. And through that experience, she decided to create a children's book to help parents and children during such times of separation. Her book, Volveré De Nuevo, I Will Come Back, reflects on parenthood and a love that knows no limits. Joining us to tell us more, please welcome author and Marine Staff Sergeant Padgy Soltis. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I've been trained to always thank our military servers with a thank you, or greet them with a thank you, I should say, for your service. So thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Pero quite frankly speaking, Staff Sergeant, ooh, that's a that's a tall order right there. And I understand you've been serving for 10 years now.
Yes, 10 years.
10 years. Wow. So, and your son is how old now?
He's 5 years old.
He's 5 years old. So I would imagine that must have been challenging for you because you were like in mid-service when you gave birth to your son. So let's talk about this whole process and of course also the fact that the book is not solely written in English, it's written bilingual. It's both in English and Spanish.
Yes. So my parents are from the Dominican Republic, and Spanish was my first language. And it's really important for me to raise my son bilingually. And when I decided to make a book, I debated doing an English only version, but at the end of the day, I knew that I wanted it to be bilingual in order for me to be able to read it to him.
All right. So this book that has beautiful illustrations attached to it, which I know you're going to be giving us a little taste shortly. Would you say it's geared more towards military families, or is it applicable to just, let's say, people who may go away for business and or just people who are dealing with separation anxiety?
It's applicable to all types of families that deal with any type of separation. Even myself, my mother, she's in Jersey, we're in North Carolina, so she's away from my son, and he does miss her a lot. So it's a book that they can connect with as well. When they FaceTime, she can read it to him. So it's applicable to all families, not just military.
All right, so just so that everybody can get a sense of what we're talking about and we can elaborate further, how about we give them a taste of a few pages, if you don't mind?
Gotcha. The book is titled Volveré De Nuevo, and I'll be reading the last 3 pages with you.
And as you're looking through it, who created the illustrations?
The illustrations was done by Dasvinka Rak. She's actually in the Ukraine. We worked virtually to get this book done.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And so you're reading the last 3 pages you mentioned?
Yes, I am. So, here we go. Volveré de nuevo para cantarte una canción, porque tú eres mi cielo, mi hogar y mi ilusión. I will come back to sing you a song. Right here with you is where I belong. Aunque sean horas o días desde que he partido, solo recuerda que te quiero y así siempre ha sido. Whether I'm gone for hours or days, remember I love you forever, always. Volveré de nuevo, te lo puedo asegurar, porque nada en este mundo jamás nos puede separar. I will come back. I promise it's true. I'd never let anything keep me from you.
Oh my gosh, it's so touching, so simple and so short, but yet so moving.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually wrote it 4 years ago.
You did?
Yes, and it's been sitting in a box, and I decided to publish it this year.
Yeah, this is a good year to publish something like that because we're all on emotional roller coaster rides right now. So that's probably amplified in me. It's amplifying my emotions because I think we all need to reassure each other in this particular time.
Yes, yes.
And you know what I noticed also that I really appreciate in the book is that you have all ethnicities in the book.
Yes, that's a really big thing for me. I love to find books that have diverse characters for my son, not only for him to see himself, but also for him to see me. He sees books. I have a big curly afro in the military. We see cannot, but he sees that and he thinks of mommy, and he sees different characters. Oh, that looks like my cousin or my friend and all that stuff. So I did want diverse characters in my book.
Yeah, and I also noticed that you have, like I said, it's mixed, right? And I wonder, the being in the military, what kind of influence that played in your choices?
Yeah, being in the military, it's a very diverse community. You have people from all over the world. I've probably met people from places you've never imagined. So I just wanted to have children be represented within my book.
And so right now that you've chosen to publish it, what do you hope that you will gain from just publishing it finally. I mean, obviously this is a love letter to your son, and you've birthed it and you're sharing it with the world. But what do you hope that any parent or any other family would take with them by getting this book?
I want this book to just create a bridge for families that are experiencing separation. I've gotten a couple messages on Instagram and to my email saying that this book was gifted to someone who was going to be away and that it's helped them during that time. So as long as it helps people get through these tough times, because it's tough on the parents, but it's also tough on the kids.
And so when you say going away, right, just because I want to just talk about that a little bit, right, because we're talking about the book and it's all fluff, right, from this perspective, but in a realistic situation of child having to be separated from their parent for whatever period of time, it's a conversation, right, or not, or perhaps this book reading of understanding that sometimes parents need to do what they need to do for their occupational purposes, and that's not necessarily understood by a child.
Yes, it is hard. My son was 2 years old when I left, so he didn't know where I was. He just knew mommy was on a phone for 9 months. So yeah, the book just translating that message of I'm gonna come back to you regardless of the distance or time, it was a very important message for me to get out there.
Wow, that must have been hard for you too, though, as a mom.
Toughest thing I've ever done, and the reason why I'll be leaving the military next year.
Right. Well, you've completed your service, right? Next year. At least it's an honorable discharge, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm making a joke out of it, but I know it must have been, and especially during this particular period of time, this must have been a little challenging for you. So it's lovely that you were able to produce this beautiful piece of artwork and storytelling for yourself and for families to just embrace it within their own household. So thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. Padgy Soltis, right? And I just want everybody to know that her book, Volveré De Nuevo, I Will Come Back, is available at Target. And of course, it's available on Amazon. And if you're interested in learning more about Padgy Soltis, you can follow her on Instagram at Padgy with 4 Ys, and don't forget to thank her for her service. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll speak to the winners of this year's Bronx 48-Hour Film Challenge. Don't go anywhere.
Stands with Haiti. That's the message Bronx Dems are seeking to amplify in the community by gathering high-need items through their borough-wide earthquake relief drive following the devastating effects of a 7.2 magnitude earthquake that ravaged the country.
Brooklyn has the largest population of Haitian community members, but the Bronx has a large number as well. So we decided to do a relief drive. Since we're all spread out throughout the borough, we just decided that every single office would have a donation box at their office, and the number of donations that we've received across the Bronx has been enormous.
I happen to be Dominican, so we share the island with Haiti. We are brothers and sisters. For me, bringing a donation to the community to go to Haiti is the least that I can do.
The death toll from the quake is at over 2,000 people, according to Haiti's Civil Protection Agency. More than 12,000 were injured and more than 50,000 homes destroyed.
Earlier this year, but prior to the earthquake, we had a devastating political with the loss of the president, which was instability within the country. And then, unfortunately, the earthquake happened shortly right after, and then right after that, a hurricane. So we are, going through a lot.
Through relationships with Haitian leaders in the country, Phileas and the Bronx Dems are looking to gather high-need items such as canned goods, bottled water, dried foods, first aid supplies, and more. The goal is to bring this much-needed aid to those affected as soon as possible.
It has been difficult because of the hurricane trying to get any supplies to the country. So as quickly as we can, as many supplies as we can. I know there's been a lot of difficulty in that. We're making sure that we can get it to them and make sure that the community actually has access to the resources.
It's so important, especially for the diaspora. It doesn't matter if you are of Haitian descent, you could be of Dominican descent, Jamaican descent, but every Bronxite has a story, and we want to make sure that, we spread the word, to those that are suffering at this moment.
If you'd like to donate, you may contact your local elected official to find a drop-off location near you. You may also visit the Bronx Dems headquarters located here at 1534 Boone Avenue between 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Donations will be collected until August 27th. Reporting for BronxNet, Sanji Lopez.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So this year, the Bronx Film 48 held its third annual 48-hour film challenge featuring inspiring filmmakers throughout the Bronx. This year's event featured 12 teams showcasing different genres of film, and joining us to tell us about their experience, we welcome first place winner Harry Christopher, aka Capitan, second place winner Andre Medina, and third place winner Tyrone Burkle. Hello and welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you, Rhina?
How's it going?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, that is quite the undertaking. Somebody, please, off the top, first of all, let's just share with everyone the name of your films and just give us a little brief background of the role you played within your film, because I only identified you guys as winners, which you are. You can start, Capitan.
Great. So our film was Funny the Way It Is, and I wrote, co-directed, and co-edited with my daughter. I didn't star this year, but I had my family involved, and it was awesome.
That's awesome. And Andre?
Hi. Our film is called Pivot Madness, and I was an actor and director. And yeah, we had the whole team. We had all the friends from college pull up and make a movie.
And Tyrone?
Mine is called The Lyrical Assassin, and I did the writer, producer, and butcher and baker.
All right, that's well. Congratulations to all of you. Again, Capitan was first place, Funny the Way It Is. Pivot Madness was second place, and then Lyrical Assassin was third place. And from what I understand, you guys have 48 hours to execute each film. And from what I also understand, if we're talking from beginning to end, as in writing within those 48 hours, shooting, editing, casting, all of that. So let's talk about the topics and how they were chosen, because they're each different stories. Like with you, Capitan, yours had to do with like this youth potion. Andre, yours had to do with this ridiculous drink called Dr. Pivot. And then Tyrone, Lyrical Assassin, which is a very interesting concept. But let's just share with our audience what that process was like, as brief as possible, so that you each have enough time. We can start with you, Capitan, first place winner.
Sure. So, we participated last year, so we knew what we were getting into. And it was exciting and a little, I don't know, we couldn't come up with an idea, basically, until Saturday. Saturday, we just got cracking on the script, wrote it up, and then filmed really quickly before it started raining. And editing took the rest of that day all the way till Sunday. I think I slept maybe 4 hours, if that. So it was fun, exciting, and challenging. So it was definitely a challenge, yes.
So because you said you couldn't come up with anything on Saturday, I'm going to jump to you, Andre. Are we saying that you're assigned on Friday, and then you have from Friday to Sunday to accomplish the task? Is that how it works? Andre?
Sorry, say it again?
Because he said he couldn't come up with an idea on Saturday, I'm jumping into you and I'm asking if the assignments were handed to each and every one of you on Friday.
Oh yeah, we picked it out of a raffle. It was really nerve-wracking. I mean, we got comedy, so we were like, it was a stroke of luck for sure. Yeah, we got no sleep. I slept on Aaron Osler's couch. He's our producer, brilliant. He basically ran the show. Yeah, and I was very fortunate to have such a great crew.
Okay, and so Tyrone, with your piece, right? Because you all have your own styles. So the lyrical assassin, like, how did that come to you? I mean, again, he just shared, you have to pick it from a hat, and then you have to just start this project from soup to nuts and accomplish it in 48 hours. Lyrical assassin, how was that assigned to you?
Some ideas started to come to my head of some past ideas that I've had through music. And I started calling different artists that I knew and said, hey, your boy needs some help. Let's do this right now. We got 48 hours. They came for the call, went up, threw the bat signal up, or as you would say, the borough signal up, said the Bronx needs us, and let's do this. So we came with an interesting story, kicked around a couple of ideas, made it happen.
I just got the visual of the Bronx bat signal going up. He's such a filmmaker. He had to provide the visuals and everything.
It's great.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. That was great. And so, okay, so I'm kind of speaking in encrypted a little bit, right? Because I got to see the films, and I hope you guys, this entices you to see the films. They're short. They're like no more than 3 to 5 minutes. And what's really fascinating is they're all unrelated. Capitans has to do with a child, well, she's not really a child, I don't want to say like a teenager, and her mom, and you know, not getting her way, and I don't want to give too much away. But I know there's some special potion involved. But the beauty of yours is that it was all done in silent film fashion.
Yes, never done it before. So when I drew it out of the hat, I was bummed, but then there's perks to it. You know, you don't have to have any sound, so I don't have to worry about that. But it was fun. You know, I did some research. I watched some old films quickly and got some ideas from there. And it was fun. It was exciting. It was, and I had to make sure that my actors knew to keep talking, even though it's silent, just so that you can feel natural, not just, you know, moving your mouth. So.
So that's good. You flex some new muscles there, right? Because truth be told, acting is really shown before even spoken. So that was a great exercise for you and the actors.
Definitely, yeah. Especially my wife. She's never acted, but so she really didn't want to do it. But she's a team player, and she helped out. And I told her, just express it. You know, we have to be natural. That's all.
Bendito, your household. It was a family affair. Nobody slept for 48 hours.
Definitely, yeah.
And Andre, you guys, I mean, you know, I was like, wait a minute. Did these guys use drones? I mean, ¿de dónde salieron the drones? Really?
You said drones?
Drones. Drone cameras. You were shooting from an angle.
Oh, yeah, we had a drone, yeah.
Pero nene, ¿dónde tú estás? Every time I come back to you, you're like, huh?
I just couldn't hear you. I think my mic is, not as good as the sound in our film.
No, but I'm saying, like, I was super impressed. I was like, did they pull out drones to shoot this?
Yeah, we brought a drone. Like I said, Aaron Osler, if you're hearing this, you're the man, because he pulled up with the crew. Like, his girlfriend was a graphic designer. She came with a bottle with a label. Then the next day we had the drone, and then I mean he's having me running in the rain, but I'm like all for it because I have complete faith in him. After that, I mean, like,
I mean, I'm sure it made it easier to step on a watermelon. Oh, did I give something away?
I mean, they won't really know the context either way. Like,
you know what? Honestly, I just I had a ball watching them, and I'm hoping that it entices our viewers to want to check in on the 48-hour film, the selection, especially you guys, the winners. And so I want to talk a little bit with Tyrone about his concept, the lyrical assassin, because, you know, of course, you go right into thinking, well, you know, this is going to be about some rap battle or something, pero he's another one that went somewhere else. And it's like the poor guy's training for, like, you know, like to become a ninja. I mean, not going, yeah, you could tell they were up for 48 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, basically, once I knew I had action, I started to think of the whole black, and so I said, hey, let me try to go with that route instead of trying to be really serious and like some of the action movies. Or so I thought the 007, somebody that needed to handle things within the boroughs and clean up the boroughs was a good aspect to go about. And I threw a little bit of comedy in there, and hopefully, no, actually, people really reacted well to this film. So I'm glad for the challenge for getting an opportunity to show some art within the borough.
Well, I want to thank all of you guys, right? Not only for your win, but for the way you've highlighted the Bronx, aside from your accomplishments with your storytelling styles and bringing in all this fancy equipment. You did a really great job of showing up the Bronx in your respective genres. So thank you for bringing it here to us on Open. Congratulations once again. These are the winners of the Bronx Film 48. And to learn more and to see their films on Bronx Film 48, go to BronxFilm48.com. All right, don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
I'm here this morning to bring this legend out of retirement. At least for one segment, we're joined by one of the best to ever do it, broadcaster Bill Daughtry. How's it going, Bill?
Bobby, it's great to be here, man. And hey, when people give you a call, they want to know what's going on. So, you know, I try and respond whenever I can.
It's always great to see you. I miss listening to you on the radio, watching you on TV. 45 years in the game. Do you miss it as much as we miss you?
No, I don't. When I was done, I was done. You know, I'm enjoying retirement. I don't have to now. I can go to bed if I don't want to sit and watch a game to its conclusion. And every once in a while I do. I don't have to know every player's name. I don't have to know where they came from, their political affiliation, and none of that. So, you know, you get tired of the minefield of political correctness, as it were. So, no, I don't miss it at all.
Last week on the show, Bill, we had racing pioneer Willie T. Ribbs. He's become a really good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we started talking about the state of 2020, 2021. And I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see the Netflix doc about his career, but, you know, he talks a lot about being a pioneer, even though he doesn't like the term. And as a black driver, he discussed that he had to be so much better to be successful in the business. I was curious to ask you about that in terms of sports broadcasting. Did you feel that you had to be that much better to get over some of the obstacles that were in your way as a sports broadcaster?
You had to be that much better, and you still have to be that much better just to get opportunities. And when you get opportunities, you still have to be otherworldly better than your white and now even your women counterparts, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a fact of life. It's a sad fact of life, but it's a fact of life. And one that most Black folks, African Americans, if you prefer, are conditioned to, because it is drilled into us from a very early age by our parents. You have to be better. You have to look better. You have to speak better. I was playing golf with some people yesterday, and there were a couple of ladies in our group, and one of them was talking about a former athlete and talked about how well spoken he was. And I was I didn't want to call her out in that spot because that's not what we were there to do. But I get tired of hearing that phrase, especially when it's applied to Black people. They're so well-spoken. Well-spoken compared to what? You know, so for all of the non-people of color that are listening, stay away from that phraseology because you're going to run into somebody who's going to call you out on the spot. I didn't do that to that person yesterday because we had to spend a long afternoon together. I don't know if you play golf or if you aspired to play golf, but you're going to be spending like 3 to 4 hours with somebody.
Really get to know somebody.
Really get to know them. We had a great time as it was. And it was that one thing that stuck with me from yesterday. And I didn't call that person out on it. And I have some misgivings about not doing that. But for me, it wasn't the time.
I thought it was interesting to, look back at your career and see some of those early days, the WMCA days. You actually got a chance to cover the Islanders. And I remember you saying that, hockey was not a sport that you were familiar with. You had to learn it. And I also thought it was a cool story that you got a chance to get a pair of skates from Dennis Potvin and that you kind of, learned about the sport from one of the best to ever play here in New York.
We had the Islanders on WMCA. I was there from, 1981 to 1985. And the Islanders at that time were in the midst of their Stanley Cup championship run. And they took me in like family, man. I didn't know a whole lot about the game. I knew all sides from watching Rangers hockey, but I wasn't really a hockey fan. But again, it was an opportunity because we were the station that carried them. I was the sports director of the station. So I had a season pass and a parking pass to Nassau Coliseum. And that was a trip for me because we lived in the Bronx at the time. And the night, I was telling the story yesterday, the night of Game 6 of the 1981 World Series, the game was originally rained out. And so me and a colleague said, let's go to Nassau Coliseum. We went, and back in the day, Nassau Coliseum didn't have a press box per se. They had a press table that was at the very top of the arena. So we got our popcorn and we walked all the way up. And by the time we got to our seats, as soon as we sat down, because we said, oh, okay, this is the Edmonton Oilers playing. So they got this guy, Wayne Gretzky, and they got a black goaltender. So I want to get to see these guys. And as soon as we get to our seats, here comes Gretzky around the back of the Islander net, and Billy Smith chops him down. Gretzky skated one more shift that night. But I was hooked. I said, I like this. I like this game. And I just kept coming back and coming back and coming back, and ultimately worked in the league. I worked for the Minnesota North Stars. I was part of the Devils' first broadcast team when they very first came to New Jersey, and met some great people. Hockey players are still the top echelon of people overall in professional sports, bar none.
I think it's interesting, too, in terms of your career, because everything really starts at SUNY Albany, and it actually starts as a DJ. In your career, you've worked in music, you've worked in news, and the first aspirations, it sounds like, in terms of sports casting, was actually to be a play-by-play voice for baseball. But, of course,
all I ever wanted to do. You set out on the journey. You have what you want to do, and then you have the opportunities that present it to you. And, I always wanted to do radio, baseball, play-by-play. That's what I started out with this thing doing. I got many opportunities to do news. I got opportunities to be a show host. I got an opportunity to be a reporter. And to me, play-by-play is the quintessential reporter, because how many fields do you have where somebody is describing the action as it unfolds? In our business, we are after the fact people. We'll come in and tell you what happened, as opposed to being there, describing it as it happened. So to me, play-by-play people are the quintessential reporters. But that opportunity never presented itself. I reached out for that opportunity. I tried to go to Virginia. I tried to go to Ohio. But the opportunities to work and having a young family, the opportunities were right here in my hometown in New York. And so that kind of got derailed. And really, to do that, I can tell you the New York Mets, they had a policy that their play-by-play guy had to have done minor league baseball somewhere. Well, if you're here, back then, there were no minor league opportunities. So, and as you go along the path of your career, what you do most often is what you are identified with doing. And on occasion, you'll get, I had 3 wonderful seasons doing Brooklyn Cyclones games on TV. I believe I was the first one to work with Keith Hernandez. And look at what Keith is now.
Winning some Emmy awards, definitely. Yeah, no, that's great stuff, Bill. And I know you mentioned before your love for golf. I know you're an avid bowler as well, and even still play some Stratomatic baseball. How often are you getting a chance to do those in addition to playing golf?
There's the 1948 Cleveland Indians right here. So Stratomatic is part of my regimen. Over the years, I built a very close relationship with the company, with Hal Richmond, who invented the game. His son Adam now runs the company. There's some other very talented people out there. John Garcia is my main contact with them, but it's a wonderful company, and it's for young sportscasters. And when I say young, I'm talking because all the time people come to me telling, oh, I got a 12-year-old, I got a 14-year-old, I know every player, blah, blah, blah. But one of the guys I was playing with yesterday was telling me about his 12-year-old son who knows every player, knows every stat, blah, 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 blah. And I told him, I said, you know what? If you can expose that kid to Stratomatic, it's a great learning tool. You'll learn geography, you'll learn math, you'll learn how to pronounce names. It'll even get you involved in other cultures, because now all players aren't just from the good old USA. They're from all over the world. And you learn, I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he has a card in Stratomatic. It's a name that you learn to master, and even how to spell. I mean, so it's a very useful tool for people who are very early on in their love for professional sports.
That was part one of our interview with the great Bill Daughtry. Tune in this Monday for part two.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a dynamic duo from Harlem who happen to be identical twin brothers, affectionately known as J&A. That's Jonathan and Aaron. These two boys have been able to capture the eyes and hearts of many with their talent and their musicianship and their blended melodic harmonization. They recently landed a contract with J.O. Records, and today they join us to discuss their latest musical projects. Joining us to tell us more, please welcome J&A.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, guys? All right, so who's Johnny, who's Aaron?
I'm Johnny, and I'm Aaron.
All right, so just out of curiosity, you guys fool people a lot?
We used to all the time. When we were younger, yeah. Now we're a little more mature now than we. Yeah, we used to fool people all the time.
You look identical. Like I wouldn't even. The only reason we could tell you apart is because you're wearing different colors.
I know. People get confused all the time. For sure. Yeah. Some people still think it's one of us only. Some people think J&A is only one person, which is kind of weird. But it's
Well, metaphorically speaking, you're like together, and what's really beautiful is that you've chosen the path of being together and working together. And so how has that been, right? I can imagine like being born looking like somebody else, be like in every aspect of the sense, right? And then having to grow together, work together, and it also being able to figure out like how you complement each other.
Right. So I feel like growing up, in anything that we ever did, we both had different strengths and different weaknesses when it comes to sports, music, whatever the games, whatever the case was, so I feel like we build off of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and where I lack and he lacks, we just fill it in for each other. So. Yeah.
Right. So I read that you guys were into basketball, and then you were also models, but you always had music in your blood. So let's just talk. Let's give everybody a little insight of what your journey looks like thus far.
So our journey thus far, started off during COVID. Actually, really everything stopped for millions of people, but we were included, and we he actually had the idea to buy music equipment, a mic, Pro Tools, I think some plugins, speakers and whatnot. So And that's really when it started. We did a few projects, we did a few records, and that's when we got found. And since then, it's been nothing but blessings. And we took that leap and, you know, doing music videos and
Records.
working with great producers
Yeah.
and meeting so many different people out here in LA.
So you're telling me that all of this took place throughout the pandemic?
Yeah.
Wow. So, but you're really referring to the decision making of this being your path, because you've already kind of like been in the industry, we'll say. So, what did any of you know music? You know, learn music as far as like certain instruments? Because I know you both come with different talents.
Right. So, like we did, you know, I guess some theater in school. I learned guitar like in high school, like, but not too seriously. Some piano too. So, from, you know, we never really had that real like, you know, training and like, you know, strict, you know, kind of foundation in music. But you know, we kind of just self-taught ourselves how to do most of our you know, singing and playing.
Right, because you're engineering somewhat, right? Because you're working with producers as well, but it's wonderful. I think it's lovely. I think it's lovely when a person finds their calling at a young age, right? Because I mean, you're very handsome, and I'm sure you guys would have made a killing in the modeling industry, and yet you take this path. Why is that?
You know, we just felt like, because before we COVID happened, we were like basketball, training hard. We were fighting for actually one spot overseas in Norway, so we're really competitive. We're training, and once all that like just stopped, like our dreams were kind of crushed. So like once we heard ourselves make this one track with our sister, actually, it was kind of like, whoa, like I didn't know it was even possible that we could make something. The creativeness behind music, like you can go wherever you want. I feel like sometimes with modeling, it's kind of one direction. Not always, but for us, but with this music, like we talk about anything, our passions, our sadnesses, our regrets, our things we're looking forward to, our blessings, God, like we talk about anything we want, and people appreciate that. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure they don't mind looking at it too. Blush, blush, blush. So who's the dominant singer here?
All right, so it's a debate. There's debate. It ain't no debate. Nah, it's a debate because you know, Johnny does have that power in his voice, but you know, I do have that soothing, you know, a voice that hugs you. You know? My thing is, I think I just have more control over my voice. Right. He's my twin, so he should be able, same DNA, same everything, so he should be able to do it. Yeah, I just feel like I'm more on the you know, because I sing rap kind of thing, and I'm more on like the technical side, you know. But we definitely complement each other, like you said before. Like we definitely know how to use that to our advantage, harmonize or whatnot. Or he sings certain parts that I don't. I sing certain parts he doesn't. So we balance it perfectly. The balance.
Were you guys like that on the courts too when you play basketball?
Oh, you can't imagine. You can't imagine. We still are, but we're very very compatible on that court. You know, so very. He's actually very good at dunking. He windmills, all that. Yeah, I'm the shooter. Yeah, but we were known for being able to break defenses, just us two. Yeah. Our passing game is ridiculous. Yeah, we just always know where we're gonna. We'll come out with a mixtape, a J&A mixtape eventually, and we'll show the world. We'll show it.
Well, that's why you're taking off already in your music career, because you understand each other's strength and how to carry each other and hold space for each other. That's a beautiful quality, you guys. You're already ahead of the game. It
actually took a lot though, you know. It took a lot of patience, a lot of like, you know, just understanding each other. We still have our arguments, but they're always about building something. No, it should be this that way, and we always come to an agreement. But stuff, relationship like this is even being brothers, you know, it's still hard, you know, you just really have to have acceptance and patience.
Yeah, but that's with any relationship, and the fact that you guys are like spitting images of each other, no pun intended. But look at what you've been able to produce. I mean, I have a list here. You've got a single called Number One. You've got another single called Heavy Weapons. You've got another single called You Got It. I understand you're opening up for day 26.
Yeah, yeah. That September 26th. Yep. Yeah, actually, tickets are selling on our. We have the link in our bio on our Instagram at Johnny and Aaron, and that's
SOBs, right?
Yeah, SOB in New York. So yeah, it's gonna be really excited about that. It's gonna be great opportunity. Yeah, one of our first like big things. So. Yeah.
And so I'm excited for you, and I'm so happy that we're able to share this with our viewers. So really quickly before we go, because I know you guys are working on another. Are you working on an EP? Are you working on another single? I know you're going to be presenting something for us today. Which of the songs that I mentioned are you going to present for us today?
So we're gonna present Number One, which I think is a really sweet track, really feel good one. We like feel good music, but at the same time, there's other sides to our music, but that's definitely our like strong point. So I think Number One was a great one for the viewers.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so happy to have you guys. I mean, you warm my heart because I see your future, and I'm so happy that we're able to share it with our Bronx viewers, and the fact that you're from New York, even though you're not currently in New York. It's lovely to know that you know where you come from and that you're coming back. Right. J&A, all right, you guys don't go anywhere because the dynamic duo is going to perform Number One when we return. Welcome back here now to perform Number One. Let's give it up for the dynamic duo, J&A. For J&A, and once again, for more on J&A and to listen to their music, check them out on Instagram at Johnny N Aaron. That's JONNY with the letter N AARON. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight, 24 hours a day on BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.